All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Those Muckrakers. We are the Shouty Radio people. We are coming to you live from the white privilege bunker, wrapped in our privilege blankets. I'm Pete.
And I'm Pat.
And, man, what a crazy week it's been. Again, Jesus, every time, we're like, well, so much has happened.
So if we seem particularly lethargic in today's episode, it's not because we just had an hour-long pre-show and exhausted all of our rage. No, it's because we're exhausted from this exhausting week.
It turns out when you hit your 30s, the thing to talk about when you're 30 is kind of, you know how 90-year-old people are like, my bowels aren't working. You know, the other day I pooped. That's all they want to talk about.
Yep.
I guess with 30-year-olds, all we want to talk about is how, unfit we are from our 20s. In your 20s, you don't even... Man, humans really should age backwards.
That would be so much nicer. Like Benjamin Button.
Yeah.
But everyone gets to do that.
Because in your 20s, it's very much like that old rock song where, you don't know what you got till it's gone.
Because, see, in our 20s, we could abuse ourselves by just sitting around all day and not doing anything. And at the end of several weeks of doing nothing, it's like, yeah, I can go for a run. No sweat.
Yeah,
What?
do you remember that time when Gene came back from the Army and he's like, we're going to go on a 6-mile run. And we had all been up all night drinking and smoking the night before?
Yeah.
Did you go on that run with us?
No.
You didn't?
But I was going to... No, but I wasn't there. But I was going to pretend like I was for the podcast.
Oh, no, because I don't know why I thought you were there, because it was real weird. We stayed up all night drinking. Gene was like, we're going to PT in the morning. So we got up and ran. And there was a kid there named, Mitch, who was on meth. He kept trying to borrow people's fucking, VCRs. He got about a mile in, and then he gave up. And then, we're just all dropping off like flies. And then we finally get to the end. And his mom comes out with the video camera and goes, how did the run go? And then that's when Miguel just, threw up his juice, all over the lawn. It was great. It was all on cue. How'd your run go? Blah! And then we were 20 and we were fine.
Yep, those were the good old days.
That would have put me in the fucking hospital if I did that today.
I remember Matt throwing up while we were fighting around a campfire in the dead of the night. That was right before we went to the huddle house, and I went and threw up in the bathroom. And
what?
You were there.
I don't remember that at all.
Well, we were at your place, right? Out back in the backyard camping, I guess.
Was that when he ran into a tree?
I don't remember him running into a tree.
There was one
night. I
remember
we were drinking, and Matt and I were gonna just box, right?
Yeah.
And part of that was me discovering that he hits really hard and fast when we box. So I started running around him, and he started spinning in a circle to try and catch me. And we kept doing this until he started vomiting in a circle like a sprinkler. And then after this, we decided that we were hungry, so we had you drive us to the huddle house, and we sat at the counter waiting for our food for, I don't know, an unspecified amount of time, and then I got up and I went and vomited in the bathroom, and I didn't think it was very loud, but when I came back out, you two were both cracking up laughing, and you're saying that the waitress was staring at the door while I was making just the worst noises in there, and I was like, really? I don't remember that. Oh, hey, the food's here.
That's the time when we decided to take an impromptu walk in the middle of the night, into some woods.
Yeah.
Yeah, just in the middle. It was like 11 o'clock at night, and we walked 5 miles to pick up somebody, and then we walked another 3 miles to another friend's house, and then we just decided to light out across the countryside through woods and fields in the middle of the night. I ended up doing 8 or 9 miles just randomly through some woods for no reason.
I remember the briars.
Yeah, I remember we flipped a coin on which way to go, and that's why it took us an extra 5 miles out of our way.
Should have called the coin better.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Anyway, yeah, so that was where we were in our 20s, and I don't know, man. As we were just talking about, I can't do a pull-up anymore.
Nowadays it's all about you can't just abuse yourself 24/7 and then expect to still function after that.
Yeah.
But right now, I can actually abuse myself a bit better because I'm in much better shape than I was for the last several years of my 20s and first several years of my 30s. I've gotten a lot healthier in the last year.
I think that's the problem, though, is our president somehow some way, still has the vitality of a 20-year-old, no matter what abuse he puts his body through.
Yeah. All he does is just like cram down KFC 24/7, have his cheeseburger while going to bed at 6 p.m. And yet he's still able to just go to one rally after the next during his campaign. Like, it's, even though I know that he can't be in that great of shape because he's the only world leader in the world at that at the Paris summit or whatever it was that had to take a golf cart up hills.
Yeah, that was real embarrassing.
Yeah, but he did have the vitality to get to all those different rallies, but that's because, like us, he just works out his vocal cords, just being able to talk all the time.
Hey, listen, if the Muckrakers became popular enough that they were like, we need you at a rally in Des Moines, I'd make it there, and I'm a fat piece of shit.
Yeah, I'd definitely go. That'd be fun.
So, all right, so this week in the news, man, there's all kinds of stuff happening. I want to talk about...
We have to rewind all the way back to last Thursday because we recorded our last episode on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a longer week than usual to cover.
So I want to cover the minor thing first, and that's like, I like to tune into all the news, both like Republican and liberal and this, that, and the other. And like I tuned into Sean Hannity the other day, and Sean Hannity was pissing his fucking pants because he, on national TV... told people cooperating with the Mueller investigation because I guess the FBI has subpoenaed, is that the right word? They subpoenaed people's cell phones now, like you turn over your phone. And he basically told them, like, I'd do what Hillary did, and I'd acid wash it and smash it with a hammer and give them the pieces. Turns out that's fucking illegal.
Now, here's the thing. I actually can take him at his word that he didn't mean that as actual instructions to those people, but at the same time he might have. And also that's not something you can really joke about because, it's the same reason why we don't make direct threats against sitting members of Congress.
As much
because
as we,
that
yeah.
can be
that
can be used against us in a court of law.
As
even
much
if
as
we're
we may
clearly
want
joking.
to, as many times as we may desire to make direct threats against sitting officials, we won't do it because I really don't want the FBI like kicking down my door. I don't want to get swatted,
As much as tempting as it is to suggest that we should turn Mitch McConnell over on his back during a sunny day, just can't do it. Turtles dry out.
As tempting as it is to say that we should take Mitch McConnell and leave him in the middle of a hot road, a busy, busy hot road, where he will enjoy the warmth of the pavement and pay no mind to the cars coming at him. As much as we'd love to say that, we can't because it would be construed as a threat against an elected official.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't encourage people who are cooperating with an FBI investigation to destroy the evidence. That's fucking illegal.
Yeah, but knowing Lumpy, I can absolutely see him thinking, I'm just gonna stick it to Hillary today and say I don't have a good Lumpy impression, so I'm just gonna do.
Riddle me this, Batman. What happened to Lumpy? Did Hillary fuck his wife?
Maybe. That's the thing with all the Republicans these days.
Did she fuck all their wives? Is that what happened? Because
maybe.
Especially
they can't stop talking about Hillary. They really can't.
Lumpy's not even a Lumpy's not even a he's just a talk radio guy, but he goes after Hillary.
That's why I said Republicans, not the establishment.
Yeah, but Lumpy goes after old Lumpy Sean Hannity goes after Hillary with the anger of she finger blasted my daughter.
It's because he's tied up with. Remember, it's like him and Trump and one other guy are all of Cohen's. What do you call it? Customers, clients.
Yeah.
So, he's probably tied up in this too. If he doesn't viciously fight to keep the American people angry at Mueller and to turn them against Mueller, then he's probably going to go to jail for life. Also, I guarantee you this time next year, he's going to be in prison. There's no way he isn't heavily tied into this.
Well,
and part of the way he can keep them angry is he knows that mentioning Hillary makes them angry because they're like, oh, that woman almost became president. We'd have had a woman president. Hell no.
I like how you turn Lumpy into. I like how you turn him into Yosemite Sam. You're like, I don't have a good Lumpy impression, so you just go, oh. My big thing is I want to see him shit his pants. I don't want to see him do a lengthy prison sentence because here's the thing: is he's going to cry that it's a free speech issue, and I'm like,
we don't know if I mean, I'm not saying he should get arrested for this. I'm saying he
Yeah,
should get
okay,
arrested
that
for
makes sense.
whatever
Yeah,
other
yeah.
crimes
Because I think
Cohen's covering up for him.
I am very nervous when
Which looks like it's real estate.
Yeah, I am very nervous when we begin to put reporters in jail based on what they say. Even though you can't encourage people to destroy evidence, and he did it on national TV, I don't really want to see him serve prison time for it, even though he seems to be scared because all the other media was like, yeah, that's a crime. So he was on his show going, folks, I was joking. Clearly it was a joke. Okay, I was joking. And I'm like, you're really like just dribbling this ball hard. Like, no one cares. Like,
It's very close to like a Rocky Balboa impression, but like you're not dedicated to finishing it.
Hey, it was a joke, Adrian. I was joking when I said destroy this. Okay, I don't know.
Cut my eye, Trump. Cut my eye.
Speaking of Rocky, by the way, surprising Trump fact this week: he pardoned famous black bare knuckle boxer Jack Johnson, who was arrested for violating the Mann Act back around the turn of the century. And the Mann Act basically meant like, if you're black, you can't be caught transporting white women anywhere. So he was arrested for taking his wife. I believe he was crossing state lines. They were going to their honeymoon. It was his wife or his girlfriend. And they stopped him, and he was arrested for basically taking a white woman across state lines for immoral purposes. And Trump pardoned him because Sylvester Stallone called him up and was like, hey, you should have pardoned this Jack Johnson guy. And he was like, very good, Rocky Balboa. I will do that.
And this is actually Trump doing something good, so, yeah, well done.
Well, the thing is, here's the deal. If you're a fucking celebrity, call this dude. Give him advice. He takes it. Kim Kardashian went in and had asked him to pardon that lady who was unfairly in jail for like 20 years for some bullshit. That lady's pardoned. He's now telling the Philadelphia Eagles, he's asking them if they have any people that they want pardoned.
That's, okay, oh my God, there's so many things. Speaking of people named Kim going to the White House, Kim Jong-un might go there because now Trump's, why not? Just go ahead and invite that guy there too. He has now. But as far as the Eagles go, like that's a whole other like story for us to cover today, because he decided to lie and say that he was disinviting them from the White House because they don't agree with me on the whole kneeling during the national anthem thing. Okay, they're just not patriots like I am. Except this entire year, none of them have kneeled during the anthem. They have not been doing what he accuses them of. But what does state media Fox News do just to toe the line? They decide to show a picture of the players kneeling and say, oh, look, see, they do kneel just like Trump says. Except that's a picture of them praying way before the national anthem is played, which, by the way, prayer is what the Republican base is supposed to be into, right? They're supposed to be into religion. Here the Eagles are, praying to God for a good game, fair game, whatever. And Fox News is using that against them by saying, no, that was them kneeling during the anthem. That's what they're doing. Trump's not just an egomaniac that's upset that they said that they weren't coming anyway.
Did Fox offer an on-air retraction?
No, they haven't said anything about that. They just lied and let it roll.
No, that's a problem. They should be brought to task for slander. What's the rule I'm looking for?
Slander actually does work, but that's a libel.
Libel, yeah, because that's crazy. Like that now a news organization could just blatantly lie about something that can be easily disproven, and they're just like, nope, sorry.
I mean, other networks can hold them to task, but every other network's considered MSM. Remember, they told all their viewers that it's just a lie. It's fake news, folks. It's the lying media. So that's the reason why we can't agree on the same reality, is because Fox News keeps everyone in this, other universe bubble. So.
Yeah. But now he's telling the Philadelphia Eagles, do you got anybody you want to pardon that was treated unfairly by the justice system? So, this...
do you think that he would actually do that, or
yes!
would he just make fun of them and say...
No! I think he would, because he did it for Kim Kardashian, and he did it for fucking...
Right, but
he did it when Rocky Balboa called him.
He's fucking with either he's going to try to say, look, folks, American people, this is me making good deals. I've got the Eagles back on my side.
No, it's because he's grasping. Look, he's grasping for any win he can get. And
I do believe in that. That's something, according to various sources, he gets very happy when it comes to pardons, because that's something where he has almost unchecked power.
Yeah.
So it's something he can do without people stopping him.
Yeah.
Just like complaining about the national anthem is something where he always gets support whenever he does it. So that makes him very happy. So he's leaning into these things that are making people happy.
That's the thing. So he has, there's no oversight on pardons at all, and it seems to make people happy. Like, yeah, I mean, it's cool that he pardoned Jack Johnson. It's cool that he pardoned the lady that was in jail for like 20 years. So I don't know. I guess if you're listening to this or you know anybody that knows a celebrity, get that celebrity. Like if I was like Brad Pitt or like Bradley Cooper or like anybody that had any Hollywood influence, I would immediately write down a list of like people that were wrongfully imprisoned. You know what I mean? That like are serving unjust sentences, and be like, get me the president, because he'll just pardon them.
Yep.
Also, maybe give him some economy advice. Maybe tell him to fire Pence and select a better. You know what I mean? If you're a celebrity, you can do this. You have open access to the White House. Crazy cuts both ways.
Yep.
You know?
That's
why I don't want President Pence, because at least in the psychotic world, because someone brought up a good point the other day. They go, Pence right now is getting everything he wants. You know what I mean? Like, people are like, yeah, we can beat up the gays again. You know, like all that stuff. So Pence is getting everything he wants. But at least
Because the Supreme Court ruled against gay cakes, and so now Pence is one step closer to a gay-free society, which is exactly what he wants.
No, I don't think he wants a gay-free society. I think he's gay Highlander, in that there can be only one, and he wants to be the only gay. Because we all agree that Pence...
make his wife upset?
We all agree that Pence is as gay as a cocksock, right?
Maybe. I mean, he does call his wife Mom, just so he could explain to himself why he has a woman around with him.
Yeah, exactly.
That could be it.
Pence is gay, man. Pence is gayer than springtime. Pence is gayer than a dude with his fist up another dude's ass. Like, I'm sorry, I don't have really good gay metaphors, but Pence is gay. We know that. Like, and all I can figure is he's gay Highlander. He's like, I don't even have a good Pence impression, but I was going to say, Mama, I have to kill them all so that I am the only one left.
Well, I suppose there can only be one. That's more like a Reagan impression, though.
Yeah. Mr. Gorbachev, I want you to fist this butthole. Come on, do it. Give it to Dutch. Yeah, but that's the thing about Trump, is he's horrible. Just awful fucking things. But he's a little bit like the lottery, in that, like, we're like, man, no one's ever going to win. And then occasionally, like, oh shit, did you hear about that dude? He got $500 the other day.
Speaking of things, did you hear about the leaked Cohen audio?
Was that the one where he's like, I will fucking bury you? Like, where he's threatening a reporter? Yeah.
I have the whole quote if you want me to read it.
Yeah, read the quote.
It's fun.
But read it in your says who voice.
Says who? Okay, I had to remember how that went. So, just so the audience is aware, Cohen, Trump's lawyer, had some audio of him threatening some reporters leaked by NPR. So here it is.
So I'm warning you, tread very fucking lightly, because what I'm gonna do to you is gonna be fucking disgusting. Do you understand me? Don't think that you can hide behind your pen, because it's not gonna happen. I'm more than happy to discuss it with your attorney and with your legal counsel, because motherfucker, you gonna need it.
I like how you kind of jumped around there, but my favorite was when you were like, hey, boo-boo, what I'm going to do to that picketed basket is going to be fucking disgusting, hey, boo-boo. Like, you got a little bit Yogi Bear with it. Like I kind of like it. I'm like, that's kind of a great, like, I love the idea about, like, I'm going to fucking bury you, hey, boo-boo, if you publish that fucking story. You and Ranger Joe.
Picnic basket.
Yeah.
Collusion in a basket.
So
apparently Melania finally showed back up again in public.
Man, I'm disappointed. Look, I mean, not that I want the first lady to die, but
29 days missing is plenty of time for the black eye Trump probably gave her to disappear. Because he just out of nowhere said, I do not abuse my wife. The media's lying. No one said that, though.
He got his notes mixed up. Yeah, like, I was like, all right, okay, I'm going to preface this like Hannity. I don't mean this. I am joking. But I kind of wanted to do a podcast where we're just going like, man, the fucking first lady is fucking dead, isn't she? Like, Trump showed up covered in blood and was like, you know what? It's nothing. It's not blood. It's fake blood. Fake news. What? I did not kill Melania with a candlestick. It was Colonel Mustard. Okay, totally Colonel Mustard. Like, I
Tuna
really wanted...
mustard with the rope in the diner.
Yeah, I really wanted that to be a thing.
That candlestick was already there.
Like his wife...
Sad.
Actually, you know what I really thought had happened? I didn't think that he killed her or beat her up. I actually thought that, like, she had died during surgery or some shit like that, and just nobody in the White House noticed.
And Trump was so embarrassed that he just didn't want to admit that he didn't realize his wife was dead for a few days.
No, he wasn't even embarrassed. He just didn't know. And, like, no one, because, you know, no one in that White House keeps track of anything. And so, finally, when the press was like, hey, where's Melania? He was like, oh, yeah, she went into surgery, like, a month ago. I wonder what happened. Oh, look, she's right there. She's fine. She's not dead. And then he's just like, is she dead?
Because, I mean, Trump does lie like most people breathe, right? Just fucking
But it's part of me was just hoping, like, because how amazing would that be if the First Lady passed away in the hospital, was then, like, they had a funeral and was just buried, and then, like, the president's like, oh, what? Did I miss all that? Oh, no. Oh, well. Guess who I've got on the phone? Lumpy Sean Hannity.
Guess who I was talking to? Lumpy, you're always there for me.
Lumpy, guess what? Now me and you can be together, finally. Melanie is dead, and we can get married. But don't tell Pence. He wouldn't like it.
Pence wanted me all to himself.
Yeah, so that was crazy. So she just... And then we still don't have an explanation about, like, where the fuck she was after, like, major surgery. Like, he just said... What was it? He had a quote. He was like... he said something like, she had a few rough days, but she's back with us now.
It wasn't even that. It was just like it was minor surgery and she's out and she's busy helping children across America again from the White House.
Right, but she's not.
Really, it's like no one saw her, no one knew where she was. If I had to wager a guess, I think that she was going to leave him, and he was like wrestling with her in private not to leave him because she disappeared right after the Stormy news broke, and we just didn't see her again until recently. So they could have just been making shit up the whole time, including making shit up about her having, like Sylvania, Slavian.
God, you're so ethnocentric.
Slovenia. I think she's from Romania.
She's from a
jackal. Is it a jackal? What about jackal?
Actually,
jackal?
You know what? I was making fun of you. She's actually from Slovenia.
Oh, look at that.
I'm not giving you credit for that, though, because you were just like, I don't know. She's from, like, a Vania, like a Slow or a Mo or like a Frovania. I don't fucking know.
I said Slovenia. I was right.
No,
Slovenia.
You said, like, yeah, you're like a Pennsylvania. I don't know. She's from coal country.
I was close enough to get partial credit, teacher.
So, like, yeah, I wonder if she was like, I'm leaving you. And he's like, you know what? If you leave me, I'll nuke Slovenia.
Trump, I am leaving you. I am taking Barron and I am going home.
If you leave me, I'm going to nuke Barron, okay?
Home is going to be a crater if you try to leave me, okay?
I will find Barron and I will blow him up. I will rain down fire and fury on Barron like you have never seen before, okay?
Sad.
Yeah. Fucking Slovenia's like, stay with him! Stay with him! Yep. We got other shit we're dealing with here.
Would you like to hear my That's Cute news?
Yeah. I was just gonna say one more thing about Melania, and like I was arguing with somebody about this the other day, and like how she's kind of like a beaten woman that like where she grew up, like she was taught that like you're a woman, man uses you to put penis inside, and you shut up. Like that was like her role as understood, and then they were like, listen, very orange man from America with golden hair will buy you now. And, like, so she basically was bought by Trump and was, like, you know, a trophy thing. And so, like, she's now in this place of incredible power and influence, and she doesn't do shit with it. And that's what upsets me. But at the same time, she's kind of a hostage in the White House. So it's, like, it's hard to be mad at her, but at the same time, I'm like, do something, you asshole! Like, fucking whisper in his ear while you're holding his balls. Like, I don't know, not do what he's doing.
I don't think they have sex. Like, he just goes to bed at 6 with his cheeseburger, and then he calls up Hannity.
And then like masturbates to a picture of his daughter.
Yeah, on the same magazine that Stormy spanked him with.
Yeah. Anyway, no, that's my whole thing. It's like I get, but like I don't know, man. You're the fucking first lady, and then like they're like, oh, you gotta have a platform, and she's like, dear children, I will help the children. Children everywhere should be helped. And I'm like, man, you are really like, if you don't have a fucking Michelle Obama speech to steal, you got nothing.
That was partially Michelle Obama's what she was doing.
Yeah.
She Melanie took that and rebranded it to do good or whatever.
Why don't we just go and start calling her? Let's go and start calling her Marvin.
Hey everybody, look, Marvin's back. How are you, Marvin?
I am good, Donald.
Yeah.
How are you?
I don't know, man. Like, dude, have a platform. Like, also, if you're part of the Trump White House, I don't think you get to say anything about helping the children unless you're like, my platform is to help all the children by liberating them from this mortal coil. We will kill all the children because nobody should be a child.
That was the point.
Huh?
That was the point that Sam B was trying to make, is that Ivanka has Trump's ear and he could help stop this, yanking children from their parents thing that's going on right now.
Yeah.
Because she called her a feckless cunt, that sort of distracted from the whole thing because people were so furious about. Well, it was a faked fury at the language she used. Because anyone that says they were mad about that language, there are probably also people that said, fuck your feelings. This is Trump, and they would also go to his rallies and buy the Hillary is a C-word T-shirt.
Oh yeah, or they're like Trump that bitch, Trump that bitch. Yeah, like they have no respect for women at all until all of a sudden now you got some fake respect for women, but.
It's the same feigned outrage that they claim that the left does, but the left isn't actually feigning it. Like, they're actually legit pissed that 1,500 children have gone missing, but the right is all like, yeah, but Sam B said a bad word, so she should get fired like Roseanne.
Yeah, it's all bullshit when ultimately like children are being ripped away from their parents. Do you want to go ahead with That's Cute News, and then we'll get into the fucking children? Oh, the children.
Well, somebody please think of the children. So,
Nope.
after making hundreds of millions of dollars from the tax cut for the wealthy, the tax scam bill, Sears is going to add a grand total number of new jobs of, is this 63 new jobs that they're adding? Oops, no, that's not what I was about to say. They're actually closing 63 more stores.
You know what?
You
know what? I was really hoping, because 63 stores is kind of funny, but adding 63 new jobs is such a small, weird, like not even rounded number. Like, you guys couldn't even make it 65? No! 63! Now shut up and get back to work! We hired 63 people and we sprinkled them around the country at our different Sears tool departments. That's all! 63! No more! Sears! Like, what the fuck is happening? So Sears is still closing 63 stores. Yeah, that's because Sears, like the landscape of retail is changing.
Yeah, Sears has actually closed nearly 400 stores in the past 12 months.
Yeah.
And now has a total of 894 stores remaining in the world, including the 64 that are slated for shutdown. And also another 15 Kmarts from the same parent company is closing.
And that's the problem.
So yeah, the tax scam bill isn't helping anyone, but it is helping the phenomenally wealthy. Yeah. So good job.
But that's the thing, is like, because that's not how, like, that's a deal, is like, we've talked about it before, is like industry and the very way that we shop is changing. It's the same reason that like people don't go to malls anymore. Because, that's just not the way, and people should have seen it coming with the way retail space worked with the movie market, How you could never physically stock enough movies to compete with places that would stream movies directly to your devices or computers. And
their profit margins were really mauled by this new trend.
Yeah, and then I think, and this is just my prediction, you're going to see this across massive scales whenever 3D printing becomes a normalized thing where everybody has a 3D printer. So what will happen is, instead of like me having to go on Amazon and...
You know what's terrifying about 3D printing, right?
What?
But once you can print organic stuff, like say food or whatever, you could then set it to print like super deadly viruses and just wipe out humanity. Because those types of viruses that are right now locked in concrete and lead in a vault 100 feet underground, anyone could just make and then like throw in their neighbor's face, and then it'll spread across the neighborhood and then across the planet.
Well, the thing about it is I think it's going to be like a lot of things where like instead of me going on Amazon and having stuff delivered, I will basically have to buy the raw materials or the ingredients for certain things. Put them in my 3D printer and then just pay to buy the what do you call it? The blueprints.
Yeah.
Now, the thing about deadly viruses, as long as nobody puts the fucking organic blueprints out there, people aren't going to be able to figure out how to print a virus unless they know, you know what I mean? They're like a molecular scientist.
The trolls are definitely going to do that, though. And the internet's really smart when it comes to crowdsourcing stuff.
Maybe, but I don't think it's the same. It's the same way that, like, you could argue that, like, people at this point should be able to build their own nuclear reactor in their house. No one's done that because it's really hard and expensive.
It's really hard to get a hold of uranium.
Yeah.
And then the reactors are... But anyway, that's...
But the thing is, you'd still have to get the organic...
But you just need a small amount of organic matter and then just, like, set it to print virus.
Right. But you can't just print a virus because you would need a strain of it, right? You can't just, like... It's like I can't just print, like, a new, like, human being. You still need, like, certain genetic material, and I think... I could be wrong, but I think the genetic material to print a virus is going to be as difficult to procure as the genetic material to print to basically make the nuclear bomb.
I'm not sure. I guess we'll find out.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, but once 3D printing becomes more...
Yeah, so the point is it's going to change, and people aren't preparing for it. Like, these stores and shit aren't like, what are we going to do in the future when someone's like, hey, I like that plaid shirt, and then they just print it from home and basically pay the fee for the blueprint. You know what I mean?
And I mean, with as common as piracy is today, we're eventually going to have like a Netflix of blueprints where you can just like pay one small fee to have access a month to have access to all
there'll be blueprint bundles. Yeah. Like,
and
that's the thing.
now, of course, you could still go to like Pirates Bay and find blueprints, but it might be like the blueprints to a dildo, and you won't realize until you've wasted a whole bunch of
you could hack
plastic
it, but
printing it. It's like, another wiener.
It's the same reason people stream music instead of going to like Pirate Bay or the Napster of 2018. You know why?
Remember back in the day whenever you went to Napster and you downloaded a song and it's the wrong song?
Right.
Like, that's the only reason you'd ever buy a CD is because you wouldn't have to wait 5 hours to download a WAV file and it's the wrong song.
But basically with the market now, the reason people stream music instead of like, I get everything off of Pirate Bay is because it's much more convenient to just pay the Spotify fee or whatever.
Yeah. That's always what you do is you just have a service that's more convenient than what the pirates offer, and you will get people's money. People will pay for an easier time.
That's the thing. Is like that's why I didn't understand when everybody was freaking out about piracy. I go, just offer them something better. Like, but I guess it's the same thing. It's like
it's because the old way can't be sustained in that world. Like you can't make someone pay $10 or $20 for 10 songs on a CD that they have to go to the store to pick up for one song that they actually like.
And
on
that was
it.
the problem
now
too.
They can just pay a few cents.
CDs cost $1 or $2 to produce, and they were charging you like $20 for a CD, and they didn't want to see that money go away. But it's the thing, you can't compete. So,
I remember when I was a little kid and I loved Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'd have to go to like the Piggly Wiggly or whatever and buy a VHS tape which would have 2 episodes of the 2 random episodes. They wouldn't even be in order of the cartoon on it for $20.
Man, you know
that's insane.
When I think back to like the way things were before we had access to so much content and media instantaneously, you know, like it used to be work being because you're kind of a completist nerd, right? Where like you're just like, I need to have the entire original series in order the way it was broadcast. Like you're kind of that guy, right?
Yep, totally. Absolutely.
And that was a fucking nightmare back then because like the world would fuck with you. They'd be like, yeah, we put the VHS tapes out, but we don't even tell you what episodes they are, so you got to watch it and find out.
Here's a fun trivia fact. For Power Rangers fans, in America, the second episode to ever be broadcast was the Pudgy Pig episode, which showed them using the weapons that could combine together, way before we actually saw the episode where they got those weapons. So just out of nowhere, they had these. And then later on, you'd get to... just fun fact.
I remember that episode really, really well because the next day at school, I kept calling this girl a Pudgy Pig, and she fucking punched me.
I just remember the way he talked would be like, I'm hungry, and he would just like flail around.
Well, my whole thing with him,
a lot of those original monsters were voiced by Bryan Cranston.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. That's kind of cool. I didn't know that. But the thing was, I wasn't calling her a Pudgy Pig. I just liked the alliteration. I just enjoyed alliterations as a child. I thought they were nice, and I was like, hey, Pudgy Pig, and she was like, punch.
You know what the Blue Ranger's name was? from that show.
Daniel?
Billy Cranston.
Really? Oh, that's really cool.
Yep. They named him after Bryan Cranston.
Oh, that's neat. That's it. That should be your That's Cute News.
That could be.
All right, so children being ripped from the arms of their parents. So a bunch
This is
of
Peter's That Cute News.
Yeah, so a bunch of people that are coming over here to seek asylum and stuff. And here's the problem. So, number one, this needs to stop. But number two, the immigration problems started, I guess, under Bush and escalated under Obama till we've reached a fever pitch under Trump. So the thing was, the Obama era immigration policies were horrendous because we do that thing we do with a lot of government agencies where we go, how much money do you need to complete this task? How many people are you arresting, detaining, whatever, right?
Right.
Now, if those numbers go down, your budget goes down next year. So what are you encouraged to do? Inflate your numbers, right?
Yep.
So fucking ICE and everybody that's detaining these people realized that they wildly overestimated the amount of illegals in the country, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they've got to make those numbers up somehow, or else go back to the president and go, hey man, so we were wrong. We said something like 60 million, and it turns out there were 63. It's weird because it's the exact same number of people that Sears has hired. I'm not saying there's a correlation. Point being, we said millions. There's 63 people. We done caught them all. So, we're going to need to go ahead and give you a bunch of that money back. Maybe we can put it into school lunches or something. That's not going to happen.
Yep.
Because I watched an episode, I've recently got, I'm watching Antenna TV now, and it's great. Last night I was watching Andy Griffith, and then there was a spinoff of Andy Griffith called Gomer Pyle, U.S. Marine Corps.
Huh.
Where Gomer Pyle joins the Marines. And
awesome.
Dude, it's delightful. He's like, well, golly, why we got to kill all these Vietnamese people? And they're like, dang it, Gomer, they're the enemy. Stop sharing your lunch with them. It's stuff like that. So, ICE and the immigration enforcement agencies have they're kind of like Gomer Pyle without the heart. They're like, well, golly, we said we could deport a lot more people than we could, so let's lie.
And that's actually a big problem I had with Obama. Okay, you know how I'm annoyed with Trump trying to undo everything that Obama did, right?
Yeah,
he does one executive order after the next just to eliminate Obama's executive orders and all the regulations in business and all the environmental protection things and everything. Obama didn't do that with Bush exactly. There was a lot of shit that Bush did that I wanted to see done away with that Obama never got rid of.
Yeah.
The Patriot Act was a huge one.
The Patriot Act's why I did not vote for Obama both times, because him and McCain were
he would
solidly
not promise
behind
to get
it.
rid of it.
Yeah, and I'm like, that needs to go. This whole idea that during exceptional times we need to put the Constitution away for the safety of the country is bullcrap. That's why it's there.
If any listener doesn't know, the Patriot Act is the thing that makes it so that the government can listen in on all your phone calls.
Or it can come to your house, put a black bag over your head, and take you away forever.
Yeah, because keep in mind that in Guantanamo Bay, you don't get a trial. You don't get a chance to prove that you're innocent.
You don't get a trial date.
Right, that's why people are saying that Guantanamo needs to be shut down, which also Obama didn't do. He kept that around from the Bush era. It's because no one there gets a trial, so we don't know if anyone there is guilty.
And the problem with where we are in America and where we are with immigration is that, not only are we taking kids out of people's arms, in the words of Jeff Sessions was just like, they're all lawbreakers! And and if they didn't want this, they shouldn't have come to the United States! And I'm like...
That's your Giuliani.
Yeah, sorry, I slipped into my Giuliani. Because my Giuliani's also kind of like my Paul Bearer from the WWF, where I'm like, oh, it's the Undertaker and America and 9/11. Let me see if
Jeff
I can
Sessions
get a better...
is the, I do not recall.
Yeah,
I simply do not recall that.
Let me see if I can get a better Jeff Sessions. I don't know if I can do the evil little elf. They're all lawbreakers. I gotta watch some more Jeff Sessions. Anyway, he called them all lawbreakers and said, if you don't want your kids taken, you shouldn't come to the United States. And I'm like,
all lawbreakers. If you don't want your kids taken, you shouldn't have come to the United States.
And so I tell people all the time, Sessions would have been an amazing attorney general in like 1920 when he's just like, all the bootleggers are lawbreakers. Lock them up.
That's why you're saying it feels like he was just like ported through time from 1920 to today, and suddenly he doesn't understand why all the black people want equal rights.
Yeah.
What are they doing?
Or he doesn't understand why all the black people are allowed to talk.
That black man just drank from the same water fountain that white lady did. Yeah. Somebody arrest him.
Lawbreakers.
Now I'm sort of slipping into Paul Bearer.
Yeah. So the problem is that like, so people are being detained, their children are being taken from them, and it has been like kind of determined that like we don't have to give them a lawyer during these immigration hearings, which is fucking bullshit. Like, if you're in the United States, like what makes us who we are is like, it's kind of like Oprah with the prizes. Like, you get a lawyer, and you get counsel, and you get counsel. Like, that's
they
just
also don't have to offer up reasons behind overturning the pleas for what do you call it, asylum or anything. It's, Your Honor, my husband will kill me if I'm sent back to my country. Well, I heard your case. You're being deported.
Yeah, that's the thing. Do fucking process, man. Like, there was a congressman the other day. I was driving in my car and like I almost died because I threw my hands up in the air off the wheel and I went, "Amen, brother, preach!" Because he goes, "We gave the goddamn Nazis a lawyer."
Yeah. During
Nuremberg, there were three. I don't know if you knew this, but like FDR. FDR / Harry Truman. I can't remember who made. I believe FDR had not died yet. Towards the end of the war, FDR, Winston Churchill, and Joseph Stalin were all sitting around. They're like, "Well, fellas, what should we do about these Nazis once we catch them?" And Churchill was like, "I believe that they should all be summarily shot and then just buried in like a ditch." So, like, Churchill wanted them all executed, all the Nazi high command. Stalin was like, "We should give them fake trial. Then we shoot them and put them in ditch like Fat Man wants." So that's what Stalin wanted. And fucking FDR was like, I'm trying to do a really good FDR here. Listen, all we have to fear... Nope, that's Kennedy. Anyway, point being, FDR was like, we should give them a real trial.
Wait,
and
I think that we should give them a real trial.
Oh, no, because FDR had that whole, like, December 7th, 1941.
Oh, it was the day that'll live in infamy.
Yeah. But it's a very...
We need to give them a
trial. Yeah. It's a very 1920s crisp New York-like. So I guess he was like, "Listen, fellas, we've got to give them a trial because the only thing we have to fear is fear." They're like, "Listen, we've heard this speech. What?
Maybe not tomorrow.
Yeah.
Someday. Sure.
Exactly. Yeah, he was very transatlantic. So the point was, he won them over. We made sure that the Nazis were fit to stand trial. We gave them counsel. We did a whole thing. I mean, like, they didn't really need a trial. The evidence was pretty fucking overwhelming, but we still gave the goddamn Nazis a trial because we were goddamn Americans and we had some fucking ideals, even if we were still lynching black people like it was the 4th of July and they didn't have any fireworks.
So what you're saying is that the way we're treating immigrants today is not right.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. All right, so you got Nazis for your government. Well, that we should still give people a trial because you fucks got a trial. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, how can you have somebody from another country that may not even speak the language, and they're like, "Do you understand these rights as have been read to you very quickly in a language you don't understand?" Gay. All right, guilty. Like, that's insane. And I get that, like, immigration is an inherently difficult thing to deal with.
May it be recorded that the client said okay.
Yep. Gay.
Guilty.
Sir, please calm down. ¿Qué pasa? Sir, I'm going to ask you to calm down or you will be shot by my bailiff.
Oops, the defendant accidentally fell down into a ditch and landed on a bullet.
Yeah.
And then he fell out the window and landed in poison.
Yep, let it be shown that this is what happened. Stenographer, please read that back. But yeah, like, so, I mean, like, because there's a thing going on in New York that irritates me, and I'm kind of like, this is not going to work. So they're like, we should give illegal immigrants, we should give them driver's licenses. And I'm like, how? Because that's a citizenship ID thing. You can't let them be, like, nobody's making sense. It's not that I don't want them to have driver's licenses. I just want whoever is like, we should give them a driver's license. Why don't you push to push for a path for like temporary citizenship? You know what I mean?
This is something I meant to do more research on, but Manafort is also like doubly fucked now because he was caught tampering with evidence. You were asking though, is he in a prison cell now, or is he still just under house arrest? Right?
Yeah, is he? What is he?
He's what they did is they just put a second ankle bracelet on him, so now he wears two.
Is this one at least heavier?
I don't know.
Because I hope that it's just like, yeah, we're going to put an extra anklet on you. And he's like, yeah, whatever. And then they bring it out and it weighs like 50 pounds and it's also like tied to a giant like cannonball. And they're like, there you go, bitch.
That would be awesome. But yeah, so Manafort, the guy that was indicted, he's one of the very few people that have not pled guilty. He's trying to tamper with evidence, he's talking to people, telling them not to talk to Mueller. But you know how he was caught telling people not to talk to Mueller?
Because he just called on like a regular phone?
He was texting them on a regular phone, and the person he texted brought that phone straight to the FBI.
Yeah, I mean,
he did not want to go down with this guy.
Yeah, I'm not even involved, but if I got a text and I'm like, who is this? And he's like, hey, it's Paul Manafort. I'd be like, yeah, hang on just a second. I would be Googling the closest, like, hey, what's the number to Mueller, the FBI?
Yeah. So that's how he was caught, so that's funny.
That's the thing, is these fuckers aren't even, like, Steve Bannon was probably the smartest guy in that White House, and he's gone. Like, Steve Bannon was real scary because, like, he wasn't a complete buffoon.
Yeah. That's something we learned in the book Fire and Fury, is that Bannon's really, I mean, he's a fucking monster, don't get us wrong, but he's not a stupid monster like, say, Giuliani is.
Yeah. Like, I don't think that Bannon is being controlled by a giant cockroach. I think Bannon is just a fat white. And that's the thing. I don't even know if Bannon is a white supremacist or if he's just a weird nationalist. I mean, he's still a piece of shit. Probably a Nazi, but I don't know if he's, because like all the stuff I've read about him, it's not so like he wants, and I don't disagree with everything he wants. That was the weird thing, was I was like, oh yeah, I definitely think that our foreign policy needs to be turned on its head.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is that whenever the presidency's illegitimate, you have to resist everything that the president's doing, not just the stuff you disagree with, but the stuff that you agree with too, because it's not right to get what you want the wrong way. That's how I feel about this, and how I believe Republicans should feel about it too.
Yeah, and we should be fighting back to get to more of a middle-of-the-road thing, and we should, like, because that's the thing, we don't have any ideology anymore. Like, we're not even giving people a trial. We're like, you're illegal, you don't get a lawyer. Why? This is America, Jack. That's the one thing, is like, everyone gets a fucking lawyer, even if it's a shitty, overworked, like, public defender. Everybody gets a fucking lawyer in court, you know?
Speaking of courts and lawyers, that's the long tail of the destructive path that they're cutting across our nation here. This is, like, the reason why we can't, even though Mueller needs to take his time, I kind of wish he would hurry the fuck up.
Oh, well, so
because they can cause some irreparable damage if we leave them in the White House long enough. Well, and the worst part of that is how they can shape the path of our judicial system for decades to come.
They're gonna get to choose a whole bunch of nominations, and they're gonna try to rush those in, especially before Trump gets impeached. Here's the other. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, Trump is on track to appoint a record number of judges to the federal branch, both district and appellate. This is, without any irony, huge, because the GOP is getting to backfill an enormous number of judges that they delayed for a number of years while Obama was president. The worst case was in Wisconsin, a 7-year delay. And so it wasn't just that one Supreme Court justice they did that with. They were doing that with every judge that Obama was trying to appoint.
Yeah,
and by appointing right-wing judges, the GOP will set the legal tone for the next 30 to 50 years.
Well, I mean, possibly, but here's the thing.
None of which can be rescinded when Trump is booted out.
I mean, possibly, but, like, at the same time, like, I'm not as worried about that because here's the problem. The GOP is an issue, but, like, I think that part of the cure will be, like, you know, like, you ever get a splinter in your hand and your hand becomes infected? You don't cut off.
It's probably happened.
You don't cut off the whole hand, right? You remove the splinter. Trump's the splinter. The GOP and the Congress are the hand, right?
I'm usually pretty quick to get the splinter out before it gets infected.
But if you don't, like, that's the thing, is we need to get rid of the splinter, and I think that, like, maybe the GOP can be brought, because they'll toe the party line, and if the party line is not, like, Zig Heil.
I do know that most of the Senate, even the ones that go on TV to defend Trump, hate his guts.
And that's
like,
the thing.
a
But
lot.
they're like they're party bought and sold, and like until we can get away from that.
And that's another thing that Fox News is doing to hurt our nation is that as long as their voters live in a different reality, they have to keep playing to that reality or they'll never get reelected.
So
everyone will turn against them.
In a sad way, they're almost as imprisoned as they're almost a bunch of different little Melanies or Melania Trumps, little Melanie Trumps. In that, like, they're like, I am also trapped. We are not so different, you and I. The orange monster has trapped us all.
Just by the numbers, though, there are currently 148 open seats with 80 nominees pending confirmation. Trump could fill them all before he leaves.
I don't think he can. I don't think he has the stamina. He can't walk up a hill without a golf cart. He's not going to be able to, like, ram through 150 judges.
So, all the GOP has to do is avoid the impeachment issue until 2020, and...
I don't know, man. Because here's the thing. It's coming to a head. All right, so this is the big story, and we got like 9 minutes left in this podcast, and we still got to cover this point. Can a sitting president be indicted for a crime?
Now, that is an interesting question that has been brought up this week, and it was asked of Bill Clinton, and his response is, yeah, they can. According to Bill Clinton, they cannot just pardon themselves.
Right,
but
that's
course,
the thing. So Trump said...
according to a weird cockroach wearing a skin suit, who
Giuliani.
goes, America! According to that guy, they can. They can just go ahead and pardon themselves.
Well,
and Trump himself is saying, now, I'm not saying I'm going to do this, but let's just say I can pardon myself from anything.
Yeah, so that's the thing.
Sad.
Here's the deal. And this is the breaking point for the democracy, and this is the point at which we take the podcast and we move it to Canada, and we start calling it Radio Free USA. When a president is able to Trump himself... God, pardon himself, he's no longer a president. He is a king.
Yeah.
Because that means that he is
that's
infallible.
Something that kings do stuff like cut babies in half and hand the two pieces to two different women and say, there, now you're both the mother. Oh, was murdering a baby a crime? Pardon. Pardon me.
There was no... I can't wait till he comes out. I'm hoping that maybe he'll believe this pardon stuff, so he goes, you know what? I did collude. I colluded all over the place. I got. Look, you want to see the documents? I'm putting them online right now. And get a picture, because guess what? I can pardon myself. And then they're like, oh, you can't. And thanks for the info. But yeah, that's the thing. That's the
fake
big
news. No, they're lying.
And it's a constitutional crisis because
lies.
According to fucking Giuliani, he can't be charged until he's impeached.
What would be bad is if he keeps trying to pardon himself and the GOP actually tries to impeach him at the same time and he pardons himself from his impeachment. That would be the constitutional crisis. It's not a crisis as long as the GOP just keeps towing the party line.
Right.
Because that's everything working the way it should work.
But there's nothing...
They actually have to turn against him first.
But that's a whole argument where they're saying like... there's nothing that says the president can be convicted of a crime. Yeah, well, there's nothing in the Constitution that says Peter Van Pelt, personal citizen, can be convicted of a crime while in the state of Nebraska, but we just kind of assume that I am subject to the laws of this country.
Yeah, and Trump himself on the campaign trail said over and over again, no one will be above the law in my administration.
Right.
Okay.
But the idea is like if he
pardons... But of course he just meant that Hillary's going to be locked up. Ooh, she'll be locked up so fast. In the first 100 days of my presidency, I'm going to lock up crooked Hillary. But, guess what? He never did that either because he's a fucking liar.
But like here's the thing, like this is man, we're living the old Chinese curse. May you live in interesting times. Because Nixon apparently went to lawyers and he was like, can Nixon pardon himself? And the lawyers are like, no, absolutely not. And he's like, then I resign. Like Nixon fucking quit. So Nixon kind of fucked us in that like...
My mother was a saint.
Yeah,
yes, I'm sure she was unimpeachable.
Yeah, Nixon kind of fucked us in that like, he left some real open questions.
Yeah. That's the thing. Nixon was never impeached, by the way. They were going to impeach him, and he resigned before it happened, and then the next guy pardoned him. Bill Clinton was impeached, but
wasn't charged with
nothing. Nothing came of it.
Because I believe that the House impeached him, and the Senate.
Impeachment is different from removal, by the way. Like
so
even if whatever happens, impeachment's sort of like being reprimanded. It's like, we'll officially recognize you as having done wrong. Bad. That's a
and
bad
then it
Trump.
has to go. Then they have to
Trump.
decide whether to hold a trial to see if you are criminally liable. So it's a process. So
Yep.
Clinton got the
His,
first part of it, but he wasn't removed from office.
The terrifying part is going to be that we really do have a finite period of time to remove Trump, and if it doesn't happen within that period of time, he most likely is not going to be removed. He'll have to be voted out of office, and at that point he might just say, you know what, I lost the election, but I'm not going to leave, okay? Sad.
Yeah, well,
and what are we going to do then? Impeach the sitting president? We can't. We already impeached him once.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. If impeachment and removal fails, and charges
And he
are brought
refuses
against him,
to step down, and you could say, of course, he has to step down if he loses the election. But to quote his lawyer, says who?
yeah, exactly. You know what? Cohen may be right in that one, because it comes down to a says who. Who's gonna physically remove the president from the office? And that's the thing.
To quote, what's that one lady with the red hair? She was also in trouble for her words about Sarah Huckabee.
Well, who are you? Oh, you're talking about Kathy Griffin?
No. She had a picture of Trump's head that she was holding. This is the one at the dinner the other night.
Oh, Michelle Wolf.
Yeah, Michelle Wolf. To quote Michelle Wolf, Trump's the one pussy we can't grab.
Yeah, I mean, that, and it's going to be interesting. I'm hoping that the vitriol in Congress, that no matter how much they toe the party line, they're unwilling to see our democracy toppled. But like we brought up before, what if he goes, you know what, guess what, guys? Blanket pardoning in session, and guess what? All of you congressmen who have supported me, you're all congressmen for life. If he does that, do you think that they're going to, because, if they can get away with it, you never know. And I kind of hope he doesn't listen to this podcast, because I really don't want to give him any ideas.
I mean, I wholeheartedly believe that Mitch McConnell does not give a shit if America burns to the ground, so long as he gets to be in charge of those cinders.
Yeah.
All he wants to do is hold on to power. He does not give a fuck what happens to America.
Yeah, and he's in a really
too
good
old
place.
to care.
He's an incredibly crafty political operator, and he's an incredible obstructionist.
Speaking of obstructionists, he came up to the camera the other day and said,
Due to unprecedented...
how's my McConnell voice go?
Oh, it's
turtle.
Yeah.
Due to unprecedented obstruction from the Democrats, we're going to have to cancel recess this upcoming summer.
But what I was just saying is they're canceling recess this upcoming summer, so the Senate's just going to stay in session.
Yeah.
And there's two reasons for this that I've heard. One is the better reason, which is they believe that Trump is like a dog around sandwiches. You have to watch him or he'll eat them.
Yeah.
So maybe they have to watch the president. But the other one, which is craftier, so I think this might be it, is that McConnell wants to stop the Democrats from being able to go home and campaign.
Right.
So that he'll be able to fuck over the blue wave, because they're not going to be able to talk to their citizens about what issues they want to pursue.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be an
So which
effective
is it?
strategy. Yeah, that seems like it's going to be real unpopular. It's probably both. But either way, we'll see if the blue wave does anything. We'll see if it doesn't. I mean, right now we have no Democratic leadership. I mean, we've got, I'm not even going to start, I'm going to stop calling him Chuck Schumer and start calling him Fuck Schumer. Because fuck Chuck Schumer. We got him and
Cuck
Pelosi.
Schumer.
Huh?
Cuck Schumer.
Or Cuck Schumer. I like Fuck Schumer better. But yeah, we've got no real, leadership. Dude, I would kill for a Democratic Mitch McConnell. That dude is Satan in a fat suit. Love him or hate him, you got to respect his political acumen.
Yeah, I mean, we just don't have on the left what they have on the right, and that's why...
Which is a competent political fucking operator.
Yeah, that's why when this podcast first started, we were thinking about being the Alex Jones of the left. That way we could start giving the left just some of the elements that the right wing has,
and then
that
we realized
seems to be working for them.
We just don't have it in us to scream for, God, Alex Jones for a fat guy has got a set of lungs on him, because that dude's show is just him just off the cuff yelling about stuff for 9 hours at a time.
Yeah, I couldn't yell that much. I've been talking for an hour now and I'm losing my voice.
Yeah.
Actually, 2 hours now.
Yeah, so I guess that's our podcast for today. Stay tuned to see if the president can pardon himself and see if a God King can bleed. Actually, that sounds like I'm threatening a sitting member of the government. I was just joking, guys. Just like Sean Hannity, I did not actually mean that we should make a God King bleed if that's what the president renames himself. It was just a joke, guys.
Sad.
Says who?
Says who?
Most people.
fucking-
All the people?
Fucking half-wits.
Says who?
Oh, Jesus.